Namaskar. Recently, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, said that she should be allowed to campaign in Texas and that she would flip the state purple before it becomes eventually blue. Now you get the idea of where the color purple comes in the title of my latest book, Who Painted My State Purple? So whether a state is going from red to blue, that is from Republican to Democrat, it goes through a phase where the color is purple, meaning like parts of the state are red, parts of the state are blue. It's collectively called in American politics as purple. Same way, when a state turns from blue to red, it also goes through the purple. So that's why I named my book, Who Painted My State Purple? And this is a fictional story of how an adversarial nation could in fact affect and impact and in fact rig the presidential election of US and the way it would go about doing it in a fictionalized form. A lot of things that happened there actually happened in real life. However, nobody tried to connect the dots, and I did in a fictional manner. You can look at the characters and draw inferences as to who I am saying is in this person in real life. That's an exercise. That's a fun exercise. When you read it, you can start making notes and say, oh yeah, this individual looks like this person in real life. Anyway, have fun. This is right now available in ebook, and very soon it's going to be available in paperback form also in the United States. Now, let's take a quick look at what really happened in the 2020 elections. If you followed all the different things that happened, there were many complaints about irregularities as to how voters were allowed to vote. And the United States had a record number of people voting, especially by mail, because of the COVID situation prevailing. Now, what is really the problem here is that the losers were saying that these were illegal votes and that proper checks and balances were not done. And this is a question that each state, even sometimes at the county level, has to answer. But instead of saying that, the Democrats have always said that Republicans are playing sore losers and that there was no rigging. Now, I'm not going to take any sides here. I'm neither a Republican nor a Democrat. I'm an independent. All I'm saying is, if there is any doubt, then we have to make sure that such doubts are erased, that such doubts are addressed. So what is now happening is many Republican-controlled states are tightening up the voter restrictions as to how one needs to vote, while many Democratic-run legislatures are doing the exact opposite. Neither one is good. Neither one is good. What has to happen is everybody has to come together and agree upon one method that would work fairly, whether you are voting in Anchorage, Alaska, or in Florida Keys. So this is the thing that we need to all strive for. I don't know why United States as a collective country never agrees upon how it should select or elect its officials, how it should count the elections, how it goes about doing the counting process. Right now, at the state level, at the county level, there's a lot of leeway on which machines can be used for counting and whether you can use manual counting, what are the recount procedures, and so on and so forth. There's an interesting article that came on NPR. I mean, this is a conversation on NPR. It's also transcribed, and I'll give you a link to that in this show more section of this video. You can see where they're discussing different states, oddities, and so on and so forth. One thing that that person made, which struck me, was he said, look, Trump was saying that the elections were rigged and that votes got transferred from one candidate to the other without disturbing the total. Then tell me, if a Democrat won that state, how come a Republican congressman also won in that same state? So it is not possible. Well, the problem is this person is not thinking it through. If it is a software that is being used to manipulate, of course the software can manipulate just the presidential vote and not disturb the other votes. It is entirely possible. In fact, these were the doubts expressed. Solar wind software was the one that was being questioned. And you know that after this happened, many of us have been experiencing compulsory reboots and reinstallation of our operating system. updating of the operating systems. Microsoft doesn't even ask you any questions sometimes. You just get up in the morning and you realize that they have updated something. Why? Because they are beginning to find a lot of holes in various modules that have probably been used from the open source repositories, and now they are trying to cover this up, because if somebody comes to know, they can be sued for billions. So these silent upgrades that are happening, nobody seems to be questioning that. But again, that's a topic for a different day. But let me try and explain what can be an equitable process to make sure that the vote from Anchorage, Alaska to Florida Keys is consistent, it is fair, and it appears to be fair. What needs to happen? First of all, a blue ribbon commission has to set up, which can say that this is the uniform set of rules that have to be followed, especially when you are electing the President of the United States. President, congressmen, senators, all these things, that presidential election that happens every 4 years has to be the same way. Next, what can be done to make sure that everybody has the same amount of leeway? So people say that, oh, I want to be able to cast my ballot by mail. Why? If you are in the United States, or for that matter, if you are anywhere in the world, you should be able to cast your ballot. So what is needed? The Blue Ribbon Commission can establish a very accurate way to figure out who is a US citizen who can vote. And that would be used as a platform on which you can use, for example, distributed ledger technology, or blockchain it's called, to put a software such that everybody can be able to vote from their living rooms using their smartphone, and you don't have to have any more mail-in ballots. Done. You're over. We're done with. So will the governments listen? Will the Democrats listen? Will the Republicans listen? Why don't you start working towards a Blue Ribbon Commission? Let's get this thing solved. Do it right. America is the technology capital of the world. Let us show the world how we have cleaned up our election process. If you like this video, please like, share, and follow us on our various social media platforms, and also click on the bell button so that you can be notified of all our updates. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.